Hi, I'm Harrison Wise. I'm your host today for FOAFing Around With. And today we are FOAFing around with Jessica Robinson, a fractional CMO and new member of the FOAF network. Jessica, nice to have you.
Nice to be here, Harrison. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome. So let's jump right in. Let's get a little bit of background on yourself. Tell us a little bit about Jessica Robinson.
Yeah, perfect. So as I kind of think about myself, there are three key areas that I'll touch on. And the first is a background about myself. The second area is a little bit of a misconception that people have around some of the work that I'm comfortable doing. And the third is how it relates to my experiences and joining FOAF. And I'll go ahead and start with the first part, which is my overview. So as an accomplished marketing executive, my expertise is really around creating brand distinction, brand relevancy, and conversion to drive growth and profitability. And I have had great results growing double-digit engagement and profit for brands at companies such as Heineken USA, PepsiCo, Kraft Foods, and Nabisco, and most recently Northwestern Mutual. And really, my passion is all around centered around bringing the emotional connection of brands to people, and really unlocking the insight to create these really powerful stories that can drive relevancy for a brand and drive demand that ultimately drives growth for organizations. And there's nothing better than connecting people to, let's say, an Oreo cookie, where you sit and you have a twist lick dunking in milk moment with your family and your friends, or with Amstel Light, a brand I used to work on, being able to play around a golf with your friends and then after enjoy an Amstel Light and just kind of hang out and being present. And finding those emotional connections and those moments to create these experiences is something that I'm deeply passionate about and have seen a lot of success in brands over the years. The second area that I'll touch base on is a little bit of a misconception that people have. And because I've worked with these amazing established brands, a lot of people might think that, working at Kraft and Northwestern Mutual, there's an abundance of resources. But my career has actually really been focused on a lot of times leveraging more of the emerging brands or the fighter brands and leveraging those portfolios. And what's so great about working on those businesses is that you're really forced to kind of ignite that entrepreneurial spirit and really think differently, roll up your sleeves, become a little bit more scrappy in your approach on how you do things because there are less resources. And I'm very comfortable in those situations where you need to find ways to really punch above your weight to unlock, the share of mind and share of voice between your sales teams, between consumers, to really think about you versus the other brands that maybe do have a lot more resources behind them. And at the end of the day, management expects the same type of a result from these emerging brands. And I love the challenge of finding those unique ways to really untap the potential of connecting, these different brands and businesses and products to consumers and really finding the growth. And the third area that I'll just touch on. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry to cut you off, Jessica. So let's lean into that a little bit. Having sat on sort of both sides of the fractional side, and then having been in-house and corporate or enterprise size organizations, how have those type of organizations and in the projects you worked on that were sort of scrappy or challenger, how have they or did they utilize fractional executives in any way, shape, or form, and what did that look like as an example?
So, I think in these situations at the organizations, they were really led by internal teams, and we would bring in some support from an agency. Sometimes they were, more fractional type of support with a small kind of one-shop agency. And we have found a lot of unlock there because we're really able to work with people that are very strategic and senior and established, and look at challenges that these businesses have and ask questions that are very unique to really find the deep kind of rooted challenge that the brand is facing, and the unlock of how to create that insight to really let a brand grow. And working with some different agencies, or in these situations, I guess you could even call them fractional kind of CX experts. It has really helped businesses because it's helped us to develop the strategic plan and the roadmap. And then at times they would help us to execute the roadmap, and at times we would take it in-house and then run the play on our own. And I've had a lot of success doing that, working in a client type of engagement, at the organizations that I've been part of.
Great. Well, thank you for elaborating on that. So back to the third thing that you wanted to share.
Yeah, so most recently, I have been consulting and as for CPG and financial services organizations, and helping them to develop brand plans, activation plans, integrated marketing plans. And really, my passion for emerging brands, which is where a lot of my background and portfolio management has been, has led me to become a SCORE mentor. And a SCORE mentor is really, I'm in a situation where I am guiding small business innovators and small business owners to develop their business plans and marketing strategies. And it's been really great, to work with people that have very limited resources. And as I think about relating to FOAF and the work that we're doing, I'm really excited to leverage my leadership expertise and all of the skills that I've accumulated over the years to drive, impact and sustainable growth for our clients.
So if I ask you what the FOAF are you, what would you say to that?
So I am a CMO, and I have a strong industry background in CPG, food and beverage and alcohol, and financial services. And I've had the fortunate experience of being able to navigate roles both on the agency side and also on the client side. So I have a deep understanding of both B2B and B2C. And I really welcome the opportunity to support, established brands or organizations, or even startup organizations, by offering strategic brand planning assistance, activation, roadmap development, and resource allocation.
That's great. What would you say is the biggest misconception that people might have about not just fractional, but even in the context of FOAF, fraction of a fraction?
Yeah, so I think the biggest misconception might be that CXOs maybe aren't as dedicated, and that it takes a lot of time to kind of ramp up and bring them up to speed on some of the business challenges. And for me, I've been in many different situations and industries working at organizations where I'm able to ramp up in no time, providing strategic direction, providing that thought leadership right away. And in fact, everyone I know, and I've had the great opportunity to meet a number of the FOAF members, really has been through the same scenarios, needing to quickly analyze what's happening, what the situation is, and being able to provide immediate value. And, we're extremely passionate. I am extremely passionate about the work that I do. And the success is really tied to our outcomes. And everything that we do, I'm going to have passion, as is the rest of the network, really to bring the perspective. And continually think, even if we're off the clock, think about the value that we can bring to help solve your business challenge and to help generate that growth that you need for long-term success.
That's great. And if I was a CEO or an entrepreneur starting a business and looking to bring on someone, fractionally, what a success, what should I be looking for? What does success look like? How do you measure that success, effectively?
Yeah, so I think every engagement is going to look a little bit different, and it's really going to be driven based on the business needs. And the most important part is really to drive clarity around what your business goals are, what your objectives are, and what the KPIs are for success, to really make sure that we're achieving that. And I think, the biggest is around clear communication and ongoing feedback to really make sure that this partnership is a success. And I think what's great about FOAF is that we can scale up or down based on how business needs change. And, having the opportunity to work with a partner that is flexible to scale up, or if needed down, I think is really important to make it a success.
Yeah, that's interesting. And sometimes some entrepreneurs, though, don't know what they don't know. So when working with a fractional executive, where does that like especially from a marketing perspective, let's hone in on marketing. Let's say the the CEO doesn't really know, or the founder doesn't really know, sort of what they need. Is it too much to ask a fractional person to kind of help them shape that that the direction of that, or is that would you say that would be a fair part of the scope initially?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, as I think about the type of roles, right? There are freelancers and there are fractional CMO. And, freelancers are a great option, and they can, be used to help with different projects or executional needs. And as I think about FOAF, really the biggest difference is we're more of an advisor and that partnership really to help a client who needs that strategic guidance. Maybe the roadmap doesn't exist, and it's developing what that roadmap is, developing what the objectives and the goals and what success looks like, and really helping to find unique ways to unlock that exponential growth. And I think that's the biggest area of opportunity that I can help to provide, and a lot of my other FOFers within the organization.
Great. And you sort of touched on it a little bit. So what would how would you define the difference between fractional or FOAF in this instance and freelance?
Yeah, so freelancers are a fabulous option, and there is definitely need to bring them in to support businesses in different projects or maybe executional type of opportunities. And when I think about FOAF tends to be a little bit more of a higher strategic level, more of a partner that can help a client who needs that strategic guidance, who needs that help in developing the roadmap and developing those lofty kind of planning goals and this different scenarios, and really helping to find ways and assess the business to unlock that growth. And we have an opportunity and a network that's really here to able to help in a number of different ways, me and marketing and others, whether it be from a revenue perspective or a human resources capital perspective. And we are a trusted partner that can help scale up as needed, and change with the different business goals that our clients will have to make sure that they achieve the success that they need.
Awesome. And in your experience, would you say that fractional engagements are in and out, or what would you say are the typical duration for most or average projects for fractional CMOs specifically in this context?
Yeah, so I think it's going to vary based on what the business objectives are. And, there could be scenarios where we might need to provide guidance for our clients, maybe an hour a week, just to help them, if they have a roadmap that's in existence, to help them kind of look at it and ask some questions and make sure that it's really sound. And there could be other opportunities where it could be a deeper engagement for a number of hours a week to really help, develop what the strategic plan looks like, or what an organization design could look like. So I think it really depends. There is no set way. And that's what's so fabulous about FOAF, is that we are designed to be able to scale up or scale down based on our client needs. And we have a number of different experts that are here ready to help in any way possible.
Awesome. I appreciate that. What are you most excited about for the second half of this year?
So it's interesting, the second half of the year is always it's an interesting time, because you're either building off of momentum of a great first half, or you're thinking about getting scrappy and trying to unlock those new opportunities and really become entrepreneurial. So I always think about back half as either something you're building from or something that you're really chasing towards. And we at FOAF and me, I am ready to, be well positioned to help clients in either of these situations. If they need help in continuing to build on some momentum, or help to develop a roadmap of a scrappy approach, a different entrepreneurial approach to unlock those opportunities. And, here and ready to help in any of those situations. And as we launch FOAF and all of our CXOs are out there in the marketplace, I'm really excited to see the impact that we can help to make with our clients.
Yeah, that was a great answer to that question. I think it's very valid in terms of those two kind of perspectives on what the second half of the year can look like. I think you really nailed that one and hit the nail on the head. because I've experienced both, even in my own business, and it's very true. It is either one or the other of the, and sometimes both, if you have the resources and capabilities to kind of
That's
have a
right.
dual track heading into the end of the year. Are there any other
It's
parting
always an
thoughts, or
exciting time.
any other things you want to share before we hop? You know, we covered a lot of ground, and it was definitely very concise. But any last minute thoughts you wanted to share?
No, I appreciate the time and opportunity to kind of share a little bit of background about myself. And, I really look forward to bringing FOAF out into the marketplace and working with, a number of different clients to help them, come up with some dreams that they didn't think was possible. So it's an exciting time.
Well, fantastic. Well, Jessica, it was a pleasure FOAFing around with you today. Thank you for joining us.
Awesome to FOAF with you too. Take care, Harrison.
Thanks.
Bye.